fat cats and pundits of Hollywood are freaking out. Why? Well, they're shouting to the heavens. Why are these Latinos and Hispanics supporting The Sound of Freedom? That's right, the movie that was the hit of summer. The movie that set the narrative until Barbenheimer took it over. Well, it is doing it once more this time, blazing into international markets and destroying the mainstream Hollywood narrative. Hello, folks, and welcome back. What a joy it is that you are here with us. And let us also say a huge thank you to each and every one of you who is a subscriber of the channel. We have just reached 40,000 subscribers, and as you all know, this channel is less than a year old. Only started on January 1st, 2023. So we are abundantly blessed and grateful. It is an attitude of gratitude we extend to each and every one of you. Now, folks, attitudes of gratitudes are in short demand and supply when it comes to Hollywood. They neither want it nor do they have it, because they are quite frustrated that instead of the Latino audience following what they think should be a hit, no, instead they are supporting The Sound of Freedom, a film that talks about issues that Hollywood would rather stay away from. We had a fantastic conversation about Sound of Freedom. Ron Coleman joins us. I think he's got a little bit of sway and a little bit of swagger when it comes to letting us know what this dagger is to the Hollywood narrative. All right, folks, we're going to be talking about a little movie that is doing what few can, and the mainstream media seems to be hesitant, reticent to discuss it at all. Here's what we've got. This out of a former guest here on the show. We hope to have him on again in the future. Christian Toto, out of the Daily Wire, and also from his website, HollywoodInToto.com. Sound of Freedom nabs #1 slot in 18 Latin American countries. Summer's indie sensation, not Indiana Jones, scores big in Mexico, Peru, Ecuador, and more. Here's what he has to say. The summer's indie sensation finally fell out of the top 10 box office results after earning north of $180 million at the U.S. box office. Those numbers are staggering and would be the summer's biggest story, if not for a certain 1-2 punch dubbed Barbenheimer. Freedom, which follows a Homeland Security agent tracking down a little girl abducted by traffickers, is now a global sensation. The film scored 18 #1 slots across Latin America over the weekend, according to Angel Studios. Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Belize, Paraguay, Chile, Uruguay, Argentina, Dominican Republic. And how about that? It also did very well in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, United Kingdom. Disney passed on this one, but it is a gem.
Are you auditioning to be in the next Animaniacs?
Well, I would never want to take on Paul. What is his name? Fooey. I couldn't pull that off quick enough.
Rob Paulson.
Rob Paulson. Darn it! I was not quick on the draw on that one. But thanks for the setup, Jonas. But Ron, I have a theory here that the reason that the mainstream media does not want to cover this, and it's left to people like Christian Toto, and you know, all the better for him to do it. But the reason they don't want to do this is because it belies that Spanish-speaking families may not be in total alignment with the way that the coastal elites view the world. What do you make of that?
I think you're onto something very important. I mean, that's the deeper issue. The more shallow issue is, well, of course, the movie involves a message that is inherently a criticism of the disastrous non-policy of the federal government with respect to the border, with respect to sex trafficking and all the awful stuff that's going on there. That's the obvious reason, but the deeper reason is what you just said. There is a lot of worrying about what Latinos, such as myself, my mommy's from Cuba, Latinos think about national politics, and they're not going along with the script that someone's trying to write for them at the Democratic National Committee.
So let's talk about that too in terms of in culture. You are muted. I'm going to come to you though, so be ready for this. But culture, what we've watched is that Blue Beetle, which was, according to Hollywood, supposed to be the big Hispanic film of the year. I mean, this was the coming out party for Latino superheroes, did not perform well. They didn't support it. In fact, they supported Super Mario Brothers at a much greater level. Now it appears the same is happening with Sound of Freedom. I don't think that Hollywood's too pleased with that. What do you think about this in terms of watching Blue Beetle do one thing and then this do the other?
Well, I think it's rather surprising, but this is something that speaks to the demographics of the theaters anyway. The Latino population overperforms their demographic regularly at the box office. And it is something that's worth mentioning, that they did support Super Mario Brothers by a much larger margin than you would have anticipated over and above, this other film. But what's not surprising to me, and speaking to what Ron was saying, is in South America, this film is performing for 100 different reasons. One, it's based right in their culture. I mean, that's the obvious one. But two, they have a stronger sense of family than you will find here in the upper part of North America right now, because of a lot of social policies and things that have been coming down politically in this country for the last 25 to 30 years. So, I probably didn't answer your question at all, Pro, but I think
I think that's very well put. Yeah. I do want to bring in another panelist, though, at this time, someone who will have a great opinion on this, I think, and that is Michelle of Force of Light. Michelle, welcome to the program yet again.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Hi, Michelle.
So, Michelle, what do you make of
there you go.
Sound of Freedom translating well into international audiences?
Not surprising. I think, especially because I think they mostly just opened up in Latin American countries, right? Is that correct?
Sound of Freedom just opened up.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was a great market. I mean, the Latin Americans, that's where, it is based in Latin America, where most of the movie takes place. And I think that subject's just as real to them as it is to Americans. So I think that I'm not surprised at all. It was a great movie. It had a message that everyone should be able to get on board with, but for whatever reason, doesn't seem to be able to. So no, I'm not shocked at all.
Well, I am not shocked either, but I am eternally disappointed as the mainstream media chooses what they want to rank order in terms of the entertainment news they'll cover and what they won't. And it seems to be highly motivated, of course, in ways that we're not well pleased with. Ron, you seem to have a thought on that? Go for it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that it seems like a really daring move by them to ignore it, because what they're demonstrating is just how little they matter.
You would think that would be what is being indicated.
Yeah, if box office is through the roof, no thanks to them. That tends to suggest that all that access that they're granted in return for their obeisance to the powers that be may not be the deal that they think or that they would have the studios believe that they're offering.
That's a great.
Well, I think so. There's another, to extrapolate upon that. The other story that runs parallel to this is here you have this very tiny budgeted film that is essentially the greatest Cinderella story of the last 5 years for cinema. This thing has no budget. It was setting, just off to the side as part of the Fox purchase with Disney. Disney didn't want to fool with it. Had Disney actually released this, they would have killed it because they would have put constraints upon it. And it gets picked up by Angel Studios, a studio that almost nobody until this, had ever heard of unless they were part of a faith community that was caring about these sorts of films. And then this thing explodes. It's number one in many international box offices around the world. And it beat Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Who could have ever seen that coming? And it's not the kind of popcorn fodder that you would anticipate could take down Indiana Jones. This is not the type of material that welcomes people with open arms to say, please come share your summer fun with us.
True.
All right, folks, that is a wrap. What a pleasure it is to deliver this to you. And folks, it would be a pleasure to us if you would consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. It should not be just a group of people talking to you. Rather, this is much better if it's a dialogue between all of us. Yes, myself and the panelists, we all read these comments. We often respond. We actually do care about what you think, and we believe that this is really and truly a dialogue with the community. Also, folks, if you'd like to hear these sorts of things live as they happen, The Pro Show is every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You definitely want to be there. And don't forget, too, we've got a special celebration coming up. 40,000 subscriber celebration this Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We may go 2 hours. We may go 3 hours. We'll definitely cover the news, but we're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff, too. Lots of surprises. You don't want to miss it. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.